And for my homies out there who don't know what Our Darkness is, it's like the Mormon version of hell. What is up, everyone? It's Morgan with My Spiritual Life. Oh God, I said Morgan and not Ex-Mormon. I guess I'm just me today. Funny story. Sometimes I accidentally say Ex-Morgan instead of saying Ex-Mormon. So that's life. Anyway, today I have so many things I want to talk about. I don't even know what to name this video. I want to talk a little bit about what this year has been like for me, as it's officially been kind of like 1 year since I left. Although, it's a long journey and it's hard to pinpoint exactly when I left and whatever. But it's been about a year that I've felt solidly out. So I want to talk a little bit about that and where I'm at now. I also want to talk about Thrive. Thrive was an ex-Mormon conference in Utah that I went to last weekend, and it was awesome. And I also want to talk about a conversation I had with my brother who is currently on a mission. So stick around if you want to hear about any of that and whatever else I ramble on to today. 1 year ago, life sucked. Reflecting back on this year is really bringing up so many emotions for me because this year has been filled with heartache. It's been filled with disappointment. It's been filled with a lot of self-hatred and confusion and depression and awfulness. But it's also been filled with a lot of freedom. It's been filled with a lot of finding who I am for the first time ever. It's been filled with a lot of Sunday shopping. It's been filled with a lot of love. I know in my videos I talk a lot about the struggle and the pain and how much it hurts. And the reason I do that is, well, first of all, it's very cathartic. Second of all, I don't want you to feel alone if you're going through the same thing. Because that's about the worst part of the faith transition, is not only is your whole life falling apart and you feel like you're stepping out of the matrix and your whole life is a lie and you don't know what to do with it, but you're usually very alone because your family and friends and community don't understand you and it's almost like too scary to even try to get them to understand you. So, if I seem like I run on a lot about the pain and the discomfort of this transformation, it's really because, well, it really sucks. And it's very lonely. And I want anyone out there who's going through this to know that you're not the only one who feels that way. I was talking to a friend of mine recently, and her shelf just broke like 2 months ago. So she is in the thick of it. And it sucks. And her family is not taking it well. And we were talking and she was just like, I don't feel any purpose in my life. And I was like, girl, I understand. That doesn't make it any better, but you're not crazy for feeling that way. I remember how badly I felt depressed a year ago from now. I would say stuff to Jared like, I don't really see a point. And like I could die today. Or I could die in 50 years and it just doesn't seem like it matters. And that was a horrifying time of my life that I never want to go back to. If you are in the thick of it right now, it really will get better. And the only way for it to get better is for you to just keep moving forward. Anyway, that being said, I kept moving forward. I found friends who understood me. I found community online. I found this YouTube channel. I actually made this YouTube channel. You guys found this YouTube channel. And I did all of these things and it helped. And it took time, but it's gotten so much better. And my life's not perfect right now. But gosh darn, it's a whole lot better. I feel like I'm finally getting to that place where I'm like starting to have normal problems again. Like, oh no, what are we gonna cook for dinner? Or, Lucas, my 18-month-old son, pooped himself really bad. Instead of like, oh, my family hates me and I'm going to hell. I know I'm rambling a lot today, guys. That's just what it's gonna be, and I'm just gonna honor that about myself. It really does get better, and as I reflect back on this year, I'm just so grateful that I stuck it out. And I think one of the things that really helped me the most during this journey in this last year was just learning to be nice to myself for the very first time ever. No one ever taught me how to be nice to myself. I think people tried, but no one really was actually doing it, so I didn't really know what it looked like. And I realized as I've had more compassion with myself and more patience with myself and actually started to accept myself, then I don't worry as much about the people who don't like what I'm doing or think that I'm going to outer darkness. And for my homies out there who don't know what outer darkness is, it's like the Mormon version of hell. Right now in my life, I'm just feeling so good about life. Like life isn't perfect and life isn't easy, but I'm actually happy and I'm actually looking forward to the future, which that was something when I was really depressed when I first left. I didn't think would ever be possible. I didn't think I could ever look forward to the future again. And I do, and I am, and it's awesome. And if you're not at that point yet, it's okay. Just give yourself time. I just want to give you hope that things really can get better. If they got better for me, I really believe they could get better for you too. In my life right now, I've been out long enough that most of my family has stopped trying to convince me otherwise, and that has been a nice place to get to as well. Because it's hard to interact with family when they're constantly like, well, did you read this, or did you try this, or did you do that? That's hard. And I'm grateful that so many of them have really just started to trust me more. That has been a gift. I really find myself feeling so much more confident just in everything. Leaving the church kind of forced me to dive into my own insecurities around everything and realize how much I didn't like about myself and realize how bad of a person I thought I was. And as I moved through that all and kind of loved myself through it all, now I'm I actually like things about me and I actually feel good about life. I feel secure again, even though I don't totally know what I believe. And I didn't think that'd be possible. I didn't think that I could feel secure in life without being certain. When you're raised Mormon, you're certain about all the answers and you know them all. But I am feeling secure, and it's really, really exciting. Anyway, I still have my moments that I get triggered, and I'm not perfect. I had a friend a couple weeks ago invite me to church, and I was just like, what? I was like, she knows I'm ex-Mormon. She knows I have a YouTube channel. Why is she inviting me to church? And I started to take it personal. And then Jared reminded me, he's like, Morgan, think of it this way. She really believes in this church. And she really likes you and cares about you. So if she really likes you and cares about you and believes in the church, then yeah, she's going to want to invite you to church. And I was like, oh my gosh, yes. Yeah, you're right. It's, you get so far gone sometimes you forget what it was like to be Mormon. And I think I'm just learning how to not take things so personal now. And I think that's making all the difference. Earlier this week, I was actually having a conversation with my brother who's currently serving a mission in a foreign country. He was feeling very frustrated because the guy that they had been working with him for a long time, an investigator, so someone who's interested in the church, they've been working with him for a while, and he basically backed out last minute on getting baptized. And was super frustrated and super upset about it, and was kind of venting to us. And it was me and my mom and my sister on the call, and him. And he was venting to us, and he told us that he told the guy what he'd been taught to say, which was, listen, if you love God, you're going to go through with this. And if you don't, then you don't love God. And that triggered me really hard. Really hard. And then I had to breathe, because my first thought was, well, to yell and be mad. My second thought was, I need to get off the call so that I don't say something hurtful because he believes this stuff. And my third thought was, I need to not take this personal, because this is not about me. So, took a breath, took a step back. This was a big deal for me, by the way. And when he was done talking, I just said, dude, I'm so sorry. That must be so frustrating. And he was like, yeah, and he went on and on. And then I was like, okay, I feel like I'm coming from a place of love, so I feel like I can say something else about it now. So, and I was scared to say this because I was like, I think my family's going to kick me off the call. Now, my family is really good to me, like, for the most part. Everything is going a lot better with them. But I was like, they're not going to like what I have to say. So I just said, honestly, I don't think that what you're saying is true about, like, if you love God, you have to do this or else you don't love God. I said, if God is real and God really loves this guy, then God knows why if he's not ready right now. And God understands those reasons. So I don't believe that if God is loving and God understands that God would ever separate himself from this guy. Like, I think he will always be with him. And I just said something like that. And then my mom defended me. And I was like, I guess I'm not getting kicked off the call. And it was a really healing moment, you guys. Like, seriously, I've been crying about it, like, all week because it was just beautiful. Because my mom was basically like, yeah, think about it this way. Are you feeling love for these people or are you feeling responsibility? Because it's not your responsibility to save everyone. It's just your job to love everyone. And I was just like, thank you, Mom. Thank you. And I don't want my shock to come across as, like, my mom is usually awful. It's just that anytime I'm interacting with Mormons, I get really nervous because I don't want to come across as anything negative, you know? Anyway, so my mom just took it really well. And then my brother, he was like, oh my gosh, like, you know, they've been teaching us to teach that way. And that was just what I was doing because that's what I've been taught. But I totally see now how that's not the right way to go about it. And he actually felt bad. And it was a cool healing moment that us as a family got to experience together. And I'm just so grateful because I feel like that moment wouldn't have happened if I reacted in one of the first two ways that I wanted to instead of the third way, you know? Like if I had gotten mad and yelled or jumped off the call. If I've learned anything in this journey, it's been that everyone deserves compassion. Easier said than done, right? Because when it comes down to it, all of us are just acting and reacting on what we truly believe. And there's not a lot we can do to change that about other people, you know? So we can choose to love people or we can choose to be mad. And obviously there's a time and place for being mad, don't get me wrong. Some of my older videos can attest to that. Anyway, I just feel like I'm really proud of myself for the way that I handled that situation with my brother, and I'm just really glad that it created such a loving bond between us who were on the call. And I just felt like, oh, I'm finally included again. And it was beautiful. And I was really grateful for that moment, and I just wanted to tell you guys about it. Another thing I wanted to tell you guys about was Thrive. Thrive was an Ex-Mormon conference in Utah, in Salt Lake, and it was awesome. And I went with a couple of my best friends. Oh, and it was just so good. Gosh, the best part was just meeting so many people. There was over like 1,000 people there. I don't know how many were actually there, but I know like over 1,500 signed up. It was mind-blowing. It was the biggest Ex-Mormon conference that has ever happened, as far as I know. One of my favorite speakers was actually an ex-Jehovah's Witness, who is an author, and she talked about her journey and how hard it was. And so many of her struggles, like you would think she was a Mormon, like talking about it, because she would say stuff like, and I just remember feeling like I was so afraid that I was wrong. And what if I was wrong, and what kind of impact would that have on my life and my family and my eternity and then like her struggle with self-confidence and trusting herself, and it just like everything resonated with me so deeply. And I was just like, this is so validating. This is so validating to hear from a Jehovah's Witness this same struggle that I have faced, because it's like, oh, it's not just me. And like, I know the Jehovah's Witness church is not God's one true church. I don't know that. I really hope so. And to hear her say that stuff, and it's just, I'm just like, I'm not alone. I'm not crazy. I'm not the only one going through this. This is so empowering. I also got to meet Lacey Green, who I was super excited to meet because she had an awesome interview with John DeLynn that I listened to recently on Mormon Stories podcast. And she is awesome. She's so authentic and real. And she talked a lot about her journey with YouTube and how difficult it was. She actually ended up getting over like 1 million subscribers years ago and had a lot of backlash from it, unfortunately. Anyway, her struggle resonates with me so deeply and just reminded me what an honor it is to be in this kind of situation where I can have an influence and an impact and help people. And she just made me feel very inspired. Anyway, there were so many great speakers, and I don't have time to talk about them all. But my favorite part definitely of being there was just meeting so many people. And I'm not gonna lie. I have never been recognized before from my YouTube channel, and I thought going into this conference, like, maybe there'd be like 1 or 2 people who would recognize me. I thought, if that, and I was like excited about that. I'm like, oh, it'd be cool to actually like meet some people who've watched my stuff and like hear what they think about it. And boy, was I in for a shock. I mean, immediately upon walking into the doors, like the greeters all knew my name. Like, and then all day long just consisted of taking pictures with people and hugging people and meeting people. And I mean, just so many people knew me. And I was just like, oh my gosh. It was the most surreal and amazing experience. Like, I just couldn't believe it. Like, I'm shaking hands with these people and I'm like, wow, like, you know me. Like, you know so much about me and I don't even know who you are. And this is amazing. I was brought to tears several times throughout the day just by feeling so overwhelmed at how many of you thanked me. Guys, my heart can't handle this. It made it all so real. It's one thing to sit here in my office and talk to the camera and feel like I'm somehow doing something, but it was another to shake your hands and hug you and find out your names and realize how real this all is, how real your stories all are. And God, it was just beautiful and it made me feel so good. I think oh my God, it just made me so happy because I feel like this is exactly what I wanted when I started the channel. Was I just wanted people to not feel alone. And I'm just like, I don't know, it just became real to me that this is actually working. This is actually helping people, and it was just amazing. Gosh, I just feel so much love from this community. And I feel so much love for this community. And I'm just so grateful that I've had this YouTube channel and so many people in this community being so supportive of me and allowing me to be supportive of them, because it's been beautiful. Because that was one of the things that I missed the most when I left, was feeling like I belonged. And I feel like I finally belong again. And if my channel has helped you in any way feel that way, I'm so, so glad. Thank you to everyone who has supported me, to everyone who's supported my channel, to everyone who's supported anyone in the Ex-Mormon community. Because together, we make this community a family. So many of us need that, especially when we first leave. Just somewhere to belong and feel accepted. I gotta say, one more thing that I really loved about Thrive was that one of the first things that they brought up while we were there was that they said, I know we have a lot of mixed faith marriage couples here, and we want you active believing members to feel totally safe in being here. And they said, we've designated this booth for you to be able to go talk to another couple who are a mixed faith marriage to be able to get some support if anything like in this conference is like triggering. And it was so awesome because it just really felt like this conference wasn't about bashing or we're better than them or whatever. It was just about love and just about respect and moving on and learning how to connect with people better moving forward. Because it's unfortunately true that there's a separation between Mormons and ex-Mormons. And it goes both ways a lot of times. Mormons can often be very judgmental of the life choices and things of ex-Mormons. And ex-Mormons can often be very arrogant and judgmental of the Mormons who are just believing what they've been told for years to believe. Anyway, this isn't to diss on anyone or anything. I'm starting to learn over and over again, I feel like, how much love is just needed on both sides of this. Like in my own life, like the example with my brother, I had been wanting love and acceptance from my family for so long, and yet I wasn't willing to give it to them because I couldn't give it to them because the church isn't true. But here's the thing. I can give them love and acceptance, whether or not I agree with them. And that's the only way that these relationships are going to work, is if we give our family the love and acceptance that they deserve and that we also deserve too. Anyway, this has been a lot of rambling. Thank you for your support. Thank you for sharing your story with me. Thank you for hugging me at Thrive. If you're in the thick of it, I promise it gets better. You just gotta keep going. Please always feel free to reach out to me if you need extra support. Thank you guys all so much for watching this video. Please don't forget to comment down below, give this video a thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel. And I will see you guys in the next video.